Hello, hello. Welcome in to Thirsty Thursdays, where we drink up the knowledge.
Hey,
And this is going to be mine and Mike's regular show, or AKA Skywalker, which I really love. Skywalker and Earth
well, thank
Song
you.
at your service.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Elvis. Elvis is in the building.
Hello, everybody.
Take it away.
Did you hear about this three-eye atlas thing going on?
That's trippy shit. I'm just going to say it. That's trippy shit.
Yeah, it's not just your ordinary okey doke, you know,
Mm-mm.
uh, piece of hardware going through the atmosphere.
No, sir, it's not. And I don't even think it's a comet.
This is, you know how rare this is? This is coming from outside of our solar system. This is like only the third object that they've got their little hands on somehow. To kind of monitor up until a certain point anyway, because this thing is head behind the sun,
Uh huh. It's
very
interesting.
conveniently. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is a convenient looking thing, and I understand the suspect of if this is a craft, right? That it can go behind the sun like that to where we can't really get a good view of it or whatever. I get that, and I'm still leaving that open for a possibility. But for the last 25 years, I have been talking about the binary star and how we have other planets that follow it in
Yep.
an elliptical orbit.
Right.
And this thing is coming in on an elliptical orbit. So,
Yep.
is it a craft that's got the Anunnaki on it? Is it a
I knew
planet
it.
that's in that solar system? Or
Uh-huh.
is it even the dwarf binary star? Because
Right.
this thing has its own light,
Yes.
it's got a glow around it,
Uh-huh. It's in.
and apparently a signal. They're
Now
trying to keep that on the down low, but they have
I
picked
didn't
up a
hear about that.
signal.
I didn't hear about the signal. I heard about how it produces its own light and something with
Yeah.
the whole dust, around
Mm-hmm.
it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I knew when I heard this story, I thought of you. I thought of the 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 Nibiru. And to be
Yes.
honest, I just thought of
Exactly.
Nibiru. I'm going to just say it.
Yeah.
I thought about that 3,500 year elliptical orbit, right?
Uh-huh.
Am I right with that number
Yeah.
there?
Yep.
Okay, because that was a long time ago when I heard that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's I totally thought of you with this whole thing. And when I saw this video, they didn't say anything about they didn't say anything about Nibiru.
No.
No, they really didn't.
No. Yeah.
They,
Actually, the astrophysicist, and I'll play a clip in a minute for the audience so they'll know what we're talking about. Avi Loeb, he suspects, if anything, at this point, he is thinking it's a spaceship
right.
because it has a signal and it has an energy source of the glow that's around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
And
we can't decipher that signal to figure out if it's signals that are coming from a planet or a ship or what. So they don't know for sure yet what this signal means. They just know we're picking it up. And comets don't do that.
yeah. See, and the shape that they describe it, there's some dramatic slope to it or something like that. What did they say? A bite curve.
A bite curve.
There's
Tell
like a
us.
dramatic bite curve, like there's an observed slope to this thing that's unlike any other meteor that they've ever seen. So
Hmm.
yeah, well, it's on that video.
Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and share a little bit. of that video so that our audience sees what we're talking about. My screen is jumping around any day
their
now.
job, then that would be a dead giveaway. And exactly like we observed with this mysterious disappearing solar system.
Okay, I'm actually gonna.
So I hope you enjoyed the
Oh
video.
my
I hope
God.
you can see that
I'm trying to pause it. It's not cooperating.
on
Technology.
scientific data. Be rest assured, I'm going to prove that to you in this video, but let's go ahead and continue with the topic. One of the biggest challenges that we've had with 3i Atlas is the fact that it's still so far away that even with our best telescopes, such as the Hubble, we can only get a vague idea as to what this object looks like because we only get a resolution of a few arc seconds on the entire object, both whatever the halo is that surrounds it and its nucleus. And with so little information, it's very difficult to determine exactly what it might be, in spite of the fact that astronomers seem 100% convinced that it's a comet, and woe betide anybody who says anything different. That being the case, though, there is one thing that has been very strange about 3i Atlas, something that was recognized right from the start. How can it possibly be so bright? The latest observed magnitude as of right now for 3i Atlas is 16.4 at a distance of about 400 million kilometers from Earth. That is not terribly bright. There are certainly other comets that have been brighter, but only gigantic comets. If we're talking about comets that are relatively small, the sorts of comets that we would expect to encounter with interstellar objects, this is anomalous. This is strangely bright. And once again, astronomers have struggled to explain why this is. But now we have a possible explanation. The 3i Atlas might be generating its own light, artificial light, and amazingly, it's backed up by the data.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there for a moment. Um,
He was also saying how it's rare that it's actually lining up with the path of the planets around our own sun. That's another rarity about this thing.
exactly.
It's
And
like,
if we look back into the old texts about Nibiru, it does exactly that.
right, and it comes
Comes
in
in and wreaks
between,
havoc on
right,
different
it
planets.
reads exactly,
So, and this actually is very much in line with the research of having a binary solar system
right,
and what I've been talking about for years because I for better than 10 years I've been yelling this is not climate change. This is cyclical changes that are happening on our planet because of the binary star. Because Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, all of them are way, way, way out there, and they have already flipped their poles and changed their environments drastically from something
see,
that came by them. And I'm like,
see,
this is going to continue to happen. We're going to see this happen on Mars. We're going to see this happen on Earth. We're going to see this happen with Venus, etc.
yeah, and that whole binary star system that you're talking about, that's the norm in the
It is
cosmos. That's the
totally,
norm. It's
totally the
totally
norm,
rare to have a single sun.
right? But we're
That's not,
so special because 'cause we're that Goldilocks planet that has life on it,
yeah,
right?
right,
So that nobody believes in aliens either,
yeah.
or the Anunnaki.
And NASA won't research this. They won't research it.
The thing is, they have researched it. They just won't
Well,
talk about it in public. If you go to nasa.gov, it's all there.
The 3I or Nibiru.
The Nibiru stuff,
Okay,
the
but
binary
they're
star
saying
system.
that NASA is not touching this 3I thing.
Mm-mm, no,
They
they're
don't
not.
want to. It's almost like they don't want you to put it on the same page that we're kind of putting it on tonight. But I just
Yeah,
can't help it. I can't help it.
the cat's out of the bag.
Oh my gosh, you've added
Spoiler
a
alert, we
you've
figured
added
it
another
out.
one to the litter. But that's the mama
Yeah,
back there this
that's
time.
mom.
It's feeding time. Okay.
Yeah, we do have one missing somewhere though. Probably in there with the kids.
Okay.
Missing out on dinner.
Just don't call me late.
That's right. But yeah, I think they don't want anybody to put two and two together, but I think our odds, our batting average is pretty damn good lately with putting things together, right? All of
Yeah,
our conspiracy theories are turning into truths.
right. It seems like we're just like on the same track of mind, same track of thought. Before our show even started, they have no idea the synchronicities that we
I
were
know.
just slam dunking left and right, talking
I
about
know.
Tesla, talking about the Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
Boy, we got some stuff to talk about.
we do. We have a lot to cover and we'll get to it. So hang in there with us, people. We'll get to all of it.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion on 3i Atlas, where are you at right now with it? What do you feel like it is? Do you feel like it's a spaceship? Do you feel like
Well,
it's something to do with the binary star system?
I don't think it's a spaceship. Um, I think spaceships can do whatever the heck they please, whatever they want, and I don't think there's a spaceship that's out there just kind of going at that speed or what. I I I think if a spaceship wants to do something, it's going to do it, and it's going to be there, and it's going to be in and out fast.
Yeah,
This is screaming historical event all over. This has got Nibiru written all over it. This is something that I think a lot of people are going to be jumping on as time goes by because I believe how much time do we got? I think like three months from now,
God.
right? We're going to know a lot more about it, or it's going to be harder than heck to to see it, let alone research it.
Yes.
But that dust around it too, Kelly, is reminding me of how Nibiru was depicted a lot of the times as it was first being seen
That's
with
right.
this with the wings. You already know where I'm going with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. And I think that as it approaches Mars and gets a little bit closer to us passing Mars, we're going to start seeing more of a wing shape to it.
right.
I really think that. Um, I feel like this is it. This is that thing we've been watching for and waiting for years. People that believe that we're in a binary solar system. I mean, Charles Hapgood
So
wrote about this, and he worked with the CIA. He was in the know, and when he left the CIA, he published a book talking all about it. Einstein wrote papers about a binary star system and how it made more sense and the math added up with the perturbations of the larger planets out there, that there's got to be something bigger than them
yeah,
that's pulling at them, right?
yeah.
I mean, so many people. And then Thomas Chan, I think was his name, also wrote a book called I think it's called The True Story of Adam and Eve. The CIA actually took it off the shelves and classified it because it talks about Hapgood's work, Einstein's theories, and all these other people. Falconelli wrote about it, Worlds
Hmm.
in Collision. Many people,
Wow.
Blavatsky, Madame Blavatsky spoke of it, and he put all that in his book. Well, they confiscated it and classified it. And then when they finally did release some of it, it was like a 500-page book. Now it's 80 pages. That's what you get, 80 pages.
Hmm.
Because they didn't want you to know about the pole shift. They didn't want you to know about the scientific stuff to back it up, like the tree ring samples that they studied or the ice core samples that they've studied that shows exactly when we had our last pole flip and what the conditions of the earth looked like
Uh,
before and after. And that's
Uh-huh.
why we've got the hairy mammoth with the buttercups in their stomach and their mouth. Because one minute they're in a tropical lush thing and they had a drastic pole shift.
Uh,
Because I think it makes a difference how close it is to
right,
us each time it
right.
passes,
Uh-huh.
how intense the catastrophe is.
Yes.
I think that sometimes it can change just the magnetic poles, and other times it's a physical pole shift. And
Right.
so in those cases, woolly mammoths with buttercups in their mouth end up flash frozen, right?
And
And
right.
giants ended up petrified and look like cool statues that some caveman chiseled out,
Oh gosh,
100
yes.
feet tall, right?
Uh-huh. Right. And it's bringing stuff with it. It has stuff within the
Yeah,
atmosphere amongst this all this dust that is just becoming radioactive with all the heat and stuff that it's accumulating on the way here. And then
exactly.
we start swapping spit, with our
Right,
with the stuff
right.
here. And you're talking Nibiru, you're talking Anunnaki, you're talking Sitchin, you're talking those
Yeah,
who came from the heavens. That's
yeah,
you're opening up a whole book there.
yeah. That they don't want us thinking about. Number one, if we knew that we were in a binary star system and it's in that close of an approach to Earth, it would shut down the economy around the world.
Right.
You think COVID shut us
Easily.
down?
Oh,
This would shut us absolutely down
yes.
because
Absolutely.
everybody's going to just grab everything they can and hunker down.
Yep.
Everybody.
And people that don't have, a certain faith will just go ape crap. And people
Nuts.
that do have faith, it's time to count your blessings, and
Yep.
it's just going to be very dramatic. You're right.
That's right. That's right. Whether it's going to be that type of cataclysm or not. If people knew about it, they would just freak out and automatically go to the worst case scenario. And the thing is, I'm okay with them keeping it quiet and on the down low until everybody can learn who we really are and what we can really do. Because when you understand that you can part a storm, calm a hurricane, disperse an earthquake, call in the rain if you need it,
Right.
then you understand that you have more control over the
Uh-huh.
elements and protecting
Mm-hmm.
this planet than we've
Yes.
ever been taught that we can. And that's how we save ourselves. And that's why I say
Yes.
we are who
That's
we've been waiting for.
Oh, yes. Perhaps we were meant for a time just like this. This is
That's
the
right.
awakening. It's not the whole take me to your leader, UFOs are real, we're done. No, this is the awakening. It's part of it, it's a micro part of it, but this is something that we can survive. This is something that we can get
Exactly.
through if we have enough people, leaders, and people that are listening that are awakened to it. We can survive this, like you said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's why, like the Hopi Indians talked about the two roads. We could take the road
Yes.
we always traveled or a higher road that we've never traveled before.
Yep.
I think that's
That's
what
right.
Jesus
That's
was
that
trying to
fork in the road we were talking about.
the fork. That's
Yeah.
right. It's that fork in the road. I was shown through downloads as a young person that we have two timelines that we're funneling down to, and that it's up to the collective which timeline we end up on. One can definitely be like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome scenario,
Yeah.
right? Where
Yeah.
that was the best words I had for it in that time,
Yeah.
right? And the other one can be more Age of Aquarius, Kumbaya, everybody loves everybody. There's no disease that's going to kill us kind of
Right.
route, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that one. I'm all for that one.
Yeah. Me
I don't
too.
want no Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. But if that's where the collective takes us, by God, I'm ready.
Yeah. Or Water World, right? With Kevin Costner.
Right, right. Or Waterworld. Exactly. I guess it depends on where you're at and what happens, right?
Yeah. Right.
It could be either scenario.
Oh
But
boy.
yeah, I think that we can really make a big change. Really, really make a big change. And that we're kind of getting maybe a little off topic, but that's what I do as what we would use the word light worker for. That's what a true
Yeah.
light worker is doing
Right.
is holding the dipoles stable on the planet. We're holding the atmospheric shields stable, right? Like
Yes.
that's what a
Stand
light worker
fast.
is doing. You're
Right.
standing fast and giving
Yes.
it stability and safety and security and love for
Absolutely.
everyone, whether they believe it or not. We don't give a two shits. We don't give two shits if they believe it or not. We're doing it for everybody.
That could very well be the job at hand.
Exactly.
Starseed job, the light worker job, part of the 144,000.
Be that
Who
beacon,
knows?
light your lamp, and hold firm.
Yeah,
Hold firm.
man, we
Absolutely.
tore that one up.
Woo! I feel it. I feel good.
You knew that you would now.
I did. I knew that I would. All right, moving on.
All right.
Let's check out this dash cam video. What did you think of that?
Well, at first I was like, what? That's just a street lamp light or
Me too.
whatever. And then
Me
as
too.
they start slowing it down and changing the lighting and stuff, I was like, oh, well, that's a triangle.
You're right.
That's a
That's
triangle
that's
craft.
exactly what I did at the beginning. I'm like,
That's a
I don't know what.
TRB4.
Right. Yeah. They actually have some now that's named Aurora that's beyond the TR3B4 and I think there's a 5 even. So one of them's called Aurora and I forget what the other one's name is. I did research on them a while back. Because I think that's what we used when we bombed Iran's nuclear site.
Oh, the deep stuff. Yeah.
I think that's how we got in and out without being on a radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. And the others, the F-16s and stuff, were just decoys, right? Look over here instead of over there.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
You got to throw the okey doke stuff up there.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to pull this up so that everybody can see this really cool dash cam video. And I think, if I remember right, this is Mr. MBB333's video. Shout
Yes.
out to him. I love watching him.
Yep.
He's awesome. All right, let me make sure it's loading and I'll try to get it to the right place here.
It even flashed a light too. I mean, not that I'm looking for
Yeah,
that. Like usually that's a turn off. You know, if I see a light flashing, that usually signifies aircraft, doing their thing that they have to do up there legally. You know, they have
right.
to show their starboard side, port side. This is my front, this is my back, this is what
Right.
this is what color this means.
You're right.
But it doesn't look like that when you see it flash.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm kind of like maybe up into the middle of the dash cam video.
Yeah,
So I'll go ahead and play it.
that's about where they were.
Where it's
The
gonna
good
like zoom
stuff.
in better. Yeah.
Way he was traveling eastbound, the other two lanes on the other side of this wall here are westbound lanes, when out of nowhere, watch up here in the upper left hand part of the screen, you're going to see a craft right there enter the field of view. Are you serious right now? There it is again. We're going to zoom in, slow it down, take a much closer detailed look at this thing, because we could actually see details on this craft. Unbelievable. You're going to see a light blinking on it. Then you're going to see two dull lights in the center of the craft. Once I adjust the lighting and clarity and zoom in, you're going to be able to see a lot of features on the bottom of this thing, more than I think I've ever seen on an unidentified object in the nighttime sky. Right there, I paused it. Right there it is. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time with his dash cam recording. Unbelievable. So now we're going to zoom in and take a closer look with several modifications. Here we go. Wait till you see this, guys. This was probably somewhere in
Yeah,
the
here we
neighborhood
go.
of, what, 75 feet wide, maybe 100? You
Mm-hmm.
can see details on the
Yeah.
bottom of this thing. You can see the lights on the bottom of this thing. I don't think it was making any sound. Here we go again. We're going to go in even a little bit closer. I slow it down a little bit more. And here in just a second, you're going to be able to see a large circle in the middle of this craft. Here we go again. Now I slow it down, zoom in even closer. Check it out. There it is.
Wow.
Isn't that
Look at
incredible?
the detail on that thing. Look at the
Crisp,
crisp
clean.
edges. Definitely an aerodynamic craft. Wasn't an airplane. Definitely wasn't a helicopter. Let me pause it right there.
Jeez.
There you go. See the circle in the
And
middle? I think this.
he talks
Yeah.
about this circle in the middle. I want to try to back it up and get it right on that image.
Yeah. Look at that.
To me, that circle isn't just a circle. I think there's like a big black ball there, and that's probably its propulsion system. Um, I know in a lot of old research that I had done, I'm going to just leave that on the screen while I talk.
Okay.
A lot of the older research I had done showed that the um, what do you call it? The black, it's not the onyx. What is this? Obsidian.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Obsidian in a
What?
gyroscope type fashion conducts some type of energy, okay? Where it'll
What?
levitate. They
We
have
never talked
one
about that.
they have one of these in a great big table where all of the UN meets. They have this ball floating in the middle of the table, and there's a the Nashville Mall or the Memphis Mall, which is really an
Oh,
oak tree mall in Tennessee, has one of these floating above a water fountain as well. I think this could be like an energy source for inside of
well,
that. But
it's darker
do
than
you
dark. That, yeah,
yes.
you're right. It's darker. It's black,
Yes.
and it may have a slick shine to it, and that's amazing. That we've never talked about that, because part of my UFO experience of memories of being on board one of these craft is what I describe as melted obsidian all over the place.
No way.
All over the place. I'm telling you that it was such a contrast being on the ship and seeing all the bright light or white colors along the sides of slick black dark obsidian in certain areas. One of them was the amphitheater room, and another one was what I called the hot tub room. They both had this black, abstract looking, chipped away, smoothed out, kind of glossy obsidian on the ship. So there's some people that experiencers that describe the black goo, and
Yeah.
heard of the black goo, but this wasn't goo. This was a structured substance. And I'm sure I wasn't calling it obsidian when I was 12 years old. I
Sure.
don't know when I coined that phrase, but it wasn't last week.
Mhm.
That's amazing that you said that,
Mhm.
because that's the center of that ship, and that makes complete sense to me. It really does. And it's darker than the dark sky behind it, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Right. So that tells me it's not just a hole. It's not just a circular hole.
Yeah,
There's
and it's not
probably
just
a
a
round
fancy,
sphere stuck in it.
right. It's probably protruded
Yes.
out a little bit, and it's
Yes.
not just for looks.
That's right. It's not just for looks.
It has a function.
And just a little sidebar here. Um, obsidian is also known as black glass
Yeah,
because it forms in volcanoes.
right.
And back in the day when, dragons were real and all, they
Uh-huh.
called it dragon glass.
Ah, yes. Because, right? I mean, I can picture a dragon making it.
They call it dragon glass because it was the equivalent to kryptonite for Superman,
Oh.
to the dragons. They may have very well been able to breathe fire like the volcano and create such things, but it was also the one thing that would definitely take them to their demise. And so the people would make spears with giant
Ah,
arrowheads of the
yeah,
obsidian or the dragon glass because
right.
that's what they were using it for, right? Their word was dragon glass.
Right. That's the first thing I learned about, right? That's the first thing we were taught was the native Indians, they made the arrowheads out of these obsidian
Yeah,
pieces of stone.
yeah, yeah.
And I believe
Obsidian
it's a
and flint.
igneous, it's a type of igneous rock, right? Is what you would categorize it as. Wow.
Yes, absolutely. That's very cool. Very cool. Okay. So do you think that this is ours or
You
theirs?
you have all the most awesome questions, because typically we want to go towards it's ours, right? When we see when we see a triangle craft.
Hmm.
But we also tend to try to reverse engineer things that we've seen or highly respect. And,
Hmm.
who knows what technology they actually do have that they are implementing now. Like you said, we go back to the TRB4 or whatever you said. That's just like talking
Right.
about the iPhone 5S Plus or whatever. Like, no, honey, we're on to 16, 17, So
Right.
that might
Exactly.
include the little upgrades like the center console, slick obsidian, fourth
Right. I have the
model.
obsidian propulsion system model.
Yeah, yeah, the North Star system equivalent Cadillac. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So I would
So do
typically
you
go
think?
towards it's ours, but
Uh,
not now, not on the fly, not after the way you asked that question, and not after the discussion we've had. Now I wouldn't. I don't know. I'm on the fence on that one now.
okay, what's your instinct tell you then? Go with your spidey senses.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's still ours, though.
Okay, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I feel like it's ours. I don't feel like it's one of theirs because I don't feel like they really need all of the elaborate panels. You know what I mean? That are on it, like the
Yeah, honeycomb.
right. Like I don't feel like that's necessary for them. All of the ships that I have seen that they have are so smooth.
Yeah,
The surfaces are so smooth. There's not a crease, there's not a crinkle, there's not a rim, there's not a nothing. It's just like skin, just
yeah.
smooth, right?
Yeah. It looks like something that our military would produce.
I think so
It's got
too.
the same kind of look.
Yeah, I think so too. So, all right, cool. We both agree on that. Okay, on to what's the next one? What do we
Uh,
have? A
oh, we got a
sighting?
Linda. We got a Linda Moulton Howe, I believe.
Oh, we
We got a
do.
long one. Yeah,
We do. We have a Linda Moulton Howe, and she is a long-winded one. Um,
this is a classic one. I liked it. This is old
it is
school.
a classic one. Let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit while I find this one particular
Sure.
section on the video. Um, she starts out with like vanishing planes and airmen, right? That's what she says at the very beginning of it. But then, and that this is connected to the UFO phenomenon, which I kind of, okay, maybe sometimes they do take a plane, right? I'm not saying that they can't, but I don't think that that's the only explanation for vanishing planes or ships
Or
or
cars. Yeah,
airmen or any of that, because I fully believe that things like the Bermuda Triangle sometimes get electrically charged and they activate and like people vanish going through them, you know?
right.
And I don't think that's something that the UFOs or the aliens are controlling. So,
Yeah, not solely. Right.
right. So I didn't I don't typically dicker with words, but I didn't like her wording on it because it insinuated that it is strictly because of the UFO story and the UFO cover up. And I didn't really like that because I know that there's other stuff going on and other stuff that's out there. And just between me and you, I kind of feel like she might be in their pocket a little bit and got reined back in to where she can't tell everything she found out.
I feel that. I have a little reservation about that too, and we just can't help but to feel that way when someone's
Well,
that up
I have
there.
reason to.
And yeah, I mean, this is we're talking 60s. We're talking 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. A lot of the stuff that she's talking about. And I remember when I first started listening to her, it was kind of dark. And it's got a little fear aspect to it because she's into the whole, animal mutilation, you know,
Right.
and stuff like that. But I get it. Like they're task driven beings. A lot of these beings are task driven. It doesn't necessarily mean they're blood sucking vampires out there.
Well, exactly. And we're going to get to that actually a little further into the show because I do want to talk quite a bit about the cattle mutilations because I know quite a bit about that from
Okay.
my own personal experiences with the beings. Um, and and just as a side note, there you mentioned the vampires and stuff, and I do have in my notes here, we're going to talk about the NSA as well in a little bit. And I
Mhm.
literally walked in the front door of the NSA.gov website, went straight to the vault that says known alien beings, and saw a list of 57 known species, friend, foe, and neutral, a whole list. And damn vampires were on that list.
Oh wow.
It blew my mind.
Hmm.
It absolutely blew my mind that vampires are on the list. And so are 5 different kinds of reptilians with subcategories of them. And damn Bigfoot was on the list, and I didn't like that at all. I actually got ticked off about it because I'm one of those people that's always been out there saying Bigfoot is not an alien. Bigfoot is part human,
I
you
I
know,
get that. I totally get how
which I guess
Bigfoot could.
they could be both, but
Yeah, it could be, but it shocked me when they first started meshing it together. It did shock me a little bit. You got this barbaric, hairy, and then you've got some streamlined, really small, advanced being. And, they can make biological slash robotic toasters, so to speak, as we'll get into later. I mean,
yeah,
and
right,
Linda
with
talks
like the
about that.
androids.
Right. Linda talks about that too in this
Yes.
video. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I also remember some footage from the Mars rover, and I really paid attention to the images that came back from the rover because I had a brother that personally um, took part in building the rovers, the 2 rovers that went to Mars. And so it was pretty exciting for me to see what kind of images we would get back. And I vividly remember this one video imagery of something that looked like Chewbacca, right?
Yeah.
Straight up, I mean, that's the best way to describe it. He looked like Chewbacca because he had like a thing across him, sitting on a cliff edge, watching the rover come toward him. And then he's just like, ugh, and gets up and walks up the cliff away from it. And I'm like, was that fucking Bigfoot on Mars? Like, what's happening right now? But of course, they took it down, and only people that got a hard copy of it right away would even know that that existed. But it is out there on the World Wide Web to see. It does still exist, and still shots of it because somebody took still shots. But this was before the days of cell phones, right? So somebody had to literally move fast and download it to their hard drive on their computer as
Oh,
quickly as
wow.
possible. And thankfully, some people did that. But so I guess in hindsight, Bigfoot could be some being from another planet, not necessarily an earthly creature. Okay, fine. I'll give that. But what if this is some distant cousin to Bigfoot, just like we have other aliens out there on other planets that look human like us,
Right.
but we still exist here? We're earthlings.
Right. Like
So
the
maybe it's the same
Nordics.
thing. Yeah. So maybe it's the same thing. But yeah, just a little side note I want to add there. So anyway, she starts it off talking about vanishing planes and airmen and how that's all involved in the UFO stuff. And then for whatever reason, she actually validates Corey Good and David Wilcock, which I have no I don't necessarily need to comment on them, but that just struck me as odd that she did that,
Yeah, me
right?
too. Yes.
And I personally used to be involved with MUFON very heavily. I was an investigator and I was part of the forum, a very active part of the forum. And I had some high up connections with some people. And Linda Moulton Howe really wanted to talk to me, except for 2 things. At the last minute, she backed out. One, I wanted to tell people how we can truly free ourselves because we're more powerful than we're being given credit for.
Right.
And 2, I didn't want to be anonymous like the rest of her whistleblowers. I didn't feel the need to be anonymous. And she didn't want me to be out there in the public. And I didn't understand that then. I do now because she can capitalize off of all of their information if they remain anonymous.
If they remain anonymous, I'll be darned. Yep.
So that made me not trust her. Once I started figuring that out, that made me not trust a lot of stuff. And I started doing more research on her. And she has been taken off to the side and put in skiffs and talked to about some things. So I think they have reeled her in,
Mm-hmm.
and she does not tell everything she really knows. And she paints this narrative that they want all of us to see. Okay.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we're going to move forward just a little bit um, to those cattle mutilations. This particular one that they spoke of in the video that we're referring to, and I'll show to the viewers here pretty soon, actually begins with an incident that took place March 10th of 1989. And that really stuck out to me, first of all, because that's one of my children's birthdays, March 10th. Okay.
Oh,
And I was like,
okay.
oh, synchronicities abound, right? I always
Uh,
pay attention to stuff like that. The incident itself took place in Hope, Arkansas,
uh-oh.
which is about 12 miles from where I grew up. And I lived there in 89. So again, I was like, synchronicities, right? This
Yeah.
is interesting because that is actually when I was having very frequent interactions with my Pleiadian family, and they were showing me and telling me and teaching me all kinds of things. And one of those things were that sometimes we have to check us, right? Like pick us up for a doctor visit, make
Right.
sure we're doing okay, but
Mm-hmm.
also that the animals that were being checked, the water was being checked, the environment was being checked, right? To see where everything was at.
Yeah.
And in Linda's video, she actually pushes the narrative, like you said, a darker way to where this is for hybrid programs. And
Right.
then she stops there and just makes it sound ominous. I was shown that yes, it is for the hybrid program, the star seeds, us, okay,
Uh,
us who are here now checking the environment to make sure that the hybrids they already created, which was really just a body that could
Oh,
sustain itself
wow.
in this changing environment because of all the extra chemicals and stuff they were doing.
Yeah. Right.
So basically, we were just getting our DNA tweaked so
Yeah.
that we could withstand the environment changes that were happening, right? The
Yeah.
amounts of fluoride that were poured into our water, the
Absolutely.
bug sprayers that would come down the road and spray the kid even if he's on the side of the street. I lived in that, right? They sprayed me. The mosquito truck got me all the time. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
like we survived some incredible things, and what are we? We're the 80s kids, we're the 70s kids, we're the 90s kids. We're
Yeah.
resilient.
Right.
That 30-year period of kids is the most resilient human beings on planet Earth now
Yep.
because that was being done for a reason.
Right.
We had to be here for now, for the awakening. That's what I was shown about cattle mutilation.
Yep.
So I
And
just wanted
that's
to
them.
share my bit with you.
That's them, in the future, that's the whole time travel's possible. They knew exactly what the earth situation was going to be, what the environment was going to be, the metals in the water. Like you said, the whole attack on our pineal gland, which is the
Yep.
most powerful, it's just the topsy turvy, turning everything inside out, upside down, backwards.
Yep.
And it goes back to perhaps we were made for a time just like this.
Exactly. So that we would be resilient. We would be the rebels that question everything so that we could wake up as we are needed to in the right timing for the great awakening.
To
I
stand fast.
yeah. I mean, I firmly believe that this is part of that narrative that I was always shown for this era. And I knew that this era would begin in my late 40s also. And COVID happened in my late 40s when the
And
world
those
stopped.
those animals are grazing on Mother Earth, and so do we.
That's right.
Indirectly.
That's right.
but you take something that is eating the grains of this earth very directly,
Yeah.
that would make sense with all the mutilations and things like that. It's not so dark after
Right.
all.
Right. It's just scientists trying to stay on top of the environmental change.
Right. And
But
I'm
they
not
can't
saying
they can't stop them from doing the chemicals and all of that, right?
right.
Because free will, right? Free will. They're
Right.
not gonna
And I'm
intervene in
like,
that.
we're not saying that there is not a hybrid uh, program
Exactly.
going on. I've met plenty of experiencers, and I believe them that have
Yes.
had babies and have been brought on board to just
Oh,
hold the babies for the human aspect of it. That's a commonality that speaks in volume. I mean, that can
yeah.
very well, and I do believe happens.
I
But
can say with 100% surety it happens. This is probably something we've never talked about. My 4th child, the one that is my father reincarnated, she told me so at the age of 3. When I first got pregnant with her, I was actually pregnant with triplets. And they insisted all the way up until my 6th month of pregnancy that none of those triplets were in my uterus where they belong, that they're just like floating around in my abdomen, growing. But they were growing and thriving. So, how is this even freaking possible that they're not in my uterus? Well, they kept trying to get me to have an abortion, like over and over and over and over. And I went in for internal ultrasounds weekly. Like, they're for sure that these babies were not in my uterus where they're supposed to be. Okay. And I had had a whole thing happen prior to getting pregnant with her, which was really bizarre anyway, but we won't touch on that right now. Um, but I was supposed I knew that I was going in for this meeting with a bunch of specialists the next morning. I was 6.5 months pregnant. And they all of these specialists were basically going to gang up on me and try to scare tactic me into agreeing to the abortion because I have 3 other children that I'm going to leave orphaned if I try to carry these triplets and they're not in the womb where they belong. It's going to kill me, right? Because they'd
right,
already been trying to tell me this narrative. So I was scared. I was really scared, and I was married to a man who is very traditional and believes in the doctors and trusts the doctors, and thought I was being a nutcase because I was refusing the abortion. So I knelt down in the living room that night after everybody went to bed, knelt down on my knees and literally begged God. And I don't beg when I pray, but I begged God, if all I can have is one child, please just put it in my womb where it belongs. Don't make me lose all of my babies. Right.
uh-huh,
I no sooner than said that, and I looked up and looked out the window across my yard and the night sky, and I could see this orb of light in the distance. And as it got closer to me, it got bigger and it got bigger and it got bigger and it got bigger, and it came straight through my pine tree that's in between me and it, straight through the tree, and just kept getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And I'm just like, what the hell am I looking at? I couldn't even make sense of it, you know? Like, what is this? Next thing I know, I'm waking up at 10 o'clock the next morning on this tiny little love seat that's sitting by that window in my living room. 6.5 months pregnant, and I'm sleeping on a love seat, a little bitty old fashioned love seat that I would have never done that on my own. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock. My doctor's appointment's at 10:30. So I just hurried and splashed some water on my face and grabbed my clean clothes and rushed out the door to go to the doctor so that I wasn't late. I get
uh-huh,
there and everybody's in a frantic frenzy after the first ultrasound. They send me to the hospital. I do 3 more ultrasounds. I go back to the doctor's office. He does another ultrasound. Nobody's telling me what the hell's going on. Nobody. And finally, he comes in the room. I'm there probably 5 hours. It probably took 5 hours. It was a very long day. I hadn't eaten. I was about to pass out. It was a whole big ordeal. And nobody would tell me what the hell was going on. Well, he walks in finally and he says, Kelly, I don't know what to tell you, but 2 of the babies are gone and one of them's in your uterus and seems fine.
what?
And they couldn't figure out what the hell. And I'm like, "What are you talking ab" And I just started panicking, and I didn't even remember my prayer the
What you
night
had.
before at that moment. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
panicking, right? Where's my babies? What do you mean? Like there was no blood. I didn't miscarry. Where'd they go? What do you mean they're not in there?
Yeah.
They said, we just call this vanishing twin syndrome,
Yeah.
right? That's their name for it. It's like, it happens. We can't explain it, but it happens. And I'm like, huh, it happens. That's weird. So it wasn't long after that that I started having the regular routine UFO sightings again. And I hadn't had them since I was a teenager as frequent. This started happening like weekly, monthly, then it got to daily. It was all the time, all the time, all the time. So my daughter, she's born perfectly healthy, 3 years old. She runs up to me, puts her little hands on my face, and beams a big light at me, and she says, "I used to be your father, and you used to sit on my lap just like this." And she just like threw her arms around me and squeezed me. And I started doing the math, and actually, my dad had told me when he died, if my calculations are correct, I'm gonna come back to you in about 10 years. I thought it was just more Zen crap that he would talk to me and I didn't even want to hear it, right? I just wanted him to fight and stay alive. Never thought another thing about it until she said that to me. Did the math. She was born 9 years and 5 months after my dad died. And I'm like, holy shit. So this is crazy. This is already crazy. Well, that's when I actually started remembering back to the night before I lost the other two babies. They went missing, right? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
God must have took them. That must have been God. That orb of light must have been God. Because at that point, I still didn't even know that UFOs could come in the form of an orb. Even though I was seeing orange orbs sometimes, I just thought it was the moon disappearing when I would see it and it would just go away. I'm like, how did the moon just disappear? You know, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
still not putting two and two together. And then I get a little bit further ahead. I'm studying more. I'm very active in MUFON at this point. I've got people high up that are helping me talk about different things and figure out different things. And my daughter comes to me. I guess she's 6 by now. And she says, "Mommy, my twins came to see me in my sleep last night."
Whoa.
And I had never even told her she had twins that we lost. She never knew anything about it. And I'm like, "What do you mean you're twins?" She's like, "2 little girls that look just like me. They came and wanted me to play with them." And I'm like, "They wanted you to play with them?" "Yeah, they wanted to talk to me, see how I'm doing. They wanted to play with me. They wanted me to go with them, but I knew if you woke up and I wasn't here that you would be scared." So I told them no, they had to stay here and play with me. And I'm like, "Well, that was very smart of you." And I was very thankful that she said that.
Yeah.
I was very
Wow.
thankful. But I'm like, "Can you draw what kind of vehicle they left in? How did they get here?" And she said, a man, the best she could describe, a man that looked like Darth Vader brought them. That was the best way she could describe it to me, because that was the only language she had at 6 years old for it. Somebody that was dressed all in black, I guess, like Darth Vader. I don't know. But I said, "Oh, did they have a car? Can you draw what it looked like?" She drew your traditional saucer shaped spacecraft.
Huh.
And I'm like, okay, so is this part of that hybrid program stuff that I've been learning about, where they make X amount and take some?
Yeah, you asked for one and you were able to keep one. You asked them to, would you please keep one in the room, in in the room,
In the
room.
room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the room.
Isn't that
And
wild?
and they're all the same and they're still the same age. They're the
Yeah.
same age.
Yeah.
They wanted to check in on her. That is amazing.
And they looked identical to her. So
And then
how did they look identical if all three of them are supposedly floating around outside of my womb?
and she's your
Were they
dad,
like clones? Were they like clones of each other?
right?
I mean, I still have questions.
Oh gosh, yeah.
you
And your
know?
daughter, and she's your dad, she's
Yeah.
your dad and
Yeah. Which that part I get. I mean, I get that he's part of my soul family, and he learned a lot from me when he was my dad because of who I was. because I remembered who I was at such a young age. And it blew his mind because of the things that he had been involved with, dark projects and stuff with the military and the government and all that, and plus his own abilities that he had. So he was very intrigued by my ability to grab things pretty quickly. So it made sense to me that he would want to come back and be in my life again to
Part of
continue
that, yeah.
learning and growing. And now her as my child, like she's forgotten all of my dad's stuff pretty much, except love of food and cooking it. But she teaches me, like she teaches me so much, and always has from the time she was really little, just like I did with my dad. So it's really a beautiful symbiotic thing, you know.
Yeah, it's like they're advanced. I
Yeah.
feel the same way with my son. My son
Yeah.
Lucas is the same way. And I take him to UFO conferences, and I've had multiple people tell me, you have a beautiful elfling being son.
Oh.
Like that's a species, some species of an elfling type of species. And
Yeah,
they always
Elvin.
describe them. Say that again?
Elvin.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
They're a very loving, caring
Yeah.
species. And that's how they describe my son, and he's still yet to have your typical UFO experience. A lot of his experiences are cerebral and within
Mhm.
dreams.
See, that's the way she is. And it's interesting that you say that's what they call your son because she's always likened herself to an elven. She thinks she's an elven type being. She's got that type of soul. She's very
Wow.
drawn to the elven people, which are like an elf, but much taller.
Yeah, right. How
Yeah.
tall is she tall?
She's a little bitty short thing. She's 4'9".
Oh, okay.
She's a tiny little thing. Buck 05 and 4'9".
Do you mind me asking how old is she?
23.
Oh my gosh. Okay, my
Yeah.
son's 27 now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Pretty cool, right? I love
Yeah.
that synchronicity. Okay, what else do we have?
Oh, wow.
Um, we talked about the mutilations. I'm looking through my notes. What about your notes?
Well, I mean, she was talking about how humans get down on their knees and start calling them gods,
Yeah.
even though, but they are not, and they never were gods.
Yeah.
So that is a strong statement, but there's no way of really knowing that, I feel, because a lot of the messages that I'm getting in my lifetime are that they may have very well had a hand. Some of these beings may have had a hand in our creation. And, but look, if you think about it, we line ourselves up with people every day. We line ourselves up with people that we respect, just right here living, you and I right now where we're at. I would line myself up if I had a being that came down from the heavens, from the sky. I would want to line myself up with this person that looks like they've got it all figured out, right? I don't know how to come down from the sky like that in a vehicle. Obviously, they have
Yeah.
something figured out. I would want to line myself up with this person, and I could see how that eventually would turn into some kind of religion that eventually would be hijacked later on down the road for other
Yeah.
purposes. Anything good gets hijacked. We know that.
Yeah. I mean, even
Um,
Jesus, right? Look what they did to Jesus.
Right. I mean, there's a point where we even start playing God ourselves, just sitting here, when we start, cloning sheep and we manipulate dogs. We have the different dog breeds and stuff. And I think that
Yeah.
continues on. It doesn't just stop at our level. I think that goes on and on and on the higher you go, just at different aspects. I mean, the curiosity is always there, I believe. There's always that drive to make I don't know if it's a perfect species or the purest species, I mean, because we're mutts. We're mutts, you know?
Yeah, we're
You
like
know?
Heinz 57s, right?
Right, yeah. But
Um,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I just see a lot of religion aspects coming from the UFO experience, you know, Ezekiel's experience that he had in ufology. There was an argument that that was a UFO experience. And then, you know, there's just that whole contrast between spirituality, religion, UFOs, and aliens. And like we've talked about before, Kelly, there's a lot of people that don't appreciate you putting that on the same plate.
Right. Even though there's historical artifacts to prove even that Jesus likely came from the stars, from the heavens, from some other type of beings in place. Because the old paintings, they show Mary in the city that she lived in and a UFO in the sky above her, right?
Yep.
When the two
Yeah.
angels came to visit her. I mean, and they always put the orb of light around their heads. And I
Yes.
think that's to signify
Yep.
that they came from some angelic realm or,
Yep.
some right? Angelic just means the heavens. It
Right.
doesn't necessarily mean that they are something we should form a religion after. Not that I'm saying don't listen to Jesus's message, just listen to the true one, not the one they're spewing at you from a pulpit, because it's
Right.
not accurate.
And the star of uh, Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, the Star of
Yeah,
David.
right.
That's the tetrahedron,
Ah,
which is the
yes.
Merkaba.
Oh gosh, I am so sprung on that.
Yeah.
That Merkabah means so many things to me. It
Hmm.
really does. It's the spirit's chariot. It's the wheel within the wheel. It's the
It
throne
really is.
angel. It's the Ophanum.
It really is. Did you see that photo I shared on Facebook today of somebody took a picture of a star and somehow in the camera lens, it literally looks just like a crystal Merkaba?
No, I'll have to
Oh
check it
my
out.
God. Oh my God, it's beautiful. I'll see if I can find that. Um, I want to check out this video of hers and see if I can find the right. Need to close these down so I don't accidentally try to open them. I have too many tabs open.
Because we were
It,
playing
yeah, we were.
and we didn't even
Okay.
tell our audience about the orb that we seen that we couldn't get on tape.
Oh my God. Right. But while we were talking,
Which we have not seen in almost an hour and a half now.
I know it hasn't showed back up. But
No,
yeah,
so that
we were
yeah,
talking about what? Tartaria, Tesla technology and stuff.
Tesla
And this little fairy orb thing just started flying around behind me over here,
up,
all over the
down,
place.
left, right. Yeah,
Yeah, it was about that big ish.
it was smaller.
Is that what you saw? Smaller than that?
I saw smaller.
Like that big?
Go down a little bit more,
Like that
a
big?
little bit more.
That big?
Yep, not like that. Moving
Really?
up and down, up and down.
See, to me, it looked bigger than that. To me, it looked about that big.
Well,
But I
that
was
kind of
seeing
makes.
like the wings too. Because
Mm,
did you see wings?
it was fluttering,
Yeah,
not
I
like
saw something
insect
making it like
wings. Yeah,
like a
that was.
fairy, right?
And like I said, I haven't seen anything that
It's
looked
not
like
showed
it
up.
since. So that
Mm-mm.
speaks even more in volume.
It really does. We were onto something with that whole time travel stuff and Tesla technology,
Yeah,
Tartaria.
Trump and his family and the
Yes,
Baron,
we were onto
Tesla.
something with all that. We'll
Oh
save
yeah,
that for another episode.
fine.
I was talking to the audience, not you.
Oh,
Um, I do want to try to find the part of her video about the Ebens when she's describing the Ebens and stuff. Oh my God. I
oh
hope you
yeah.
didn't hear that loudness. That was terrible. Because what do you think about does that make sense to you, the Ebens and stuff that she's describing?
Um.
Because like in one part, it's almost like contradictory, really.
Oh,
In one part, she's talking about how the Ebens helped create us, or we wouldn't be here without them, whatever that means, and that they're good. But then in another part, she's talking about, I think they were talking to Reagan and saying that the Ebens actually can pretend to be the blonde, Nordic looking type, and that they're not to be trusted.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. She was saying that the Ebens were pretending to be. I remember when she was talking about the Nordics and how and description of them, how they're like some people call them the tall pales, the tall whites,
Uh-huh.
and some call them the Nordics with their straight bangs.
Right, with their straight bangs, that was specific. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Oh my God, that was really good of me. I got it perfect. I'm proud
Oh,
of
cool.
me. I don't know how I did that so good. Okay, I'm gonna turn this up so everybody can hear it. Yeah, check out this clip. And this is again, this is Linda Moulton Howe, Zohar or whatever is the channel name. I'll find it. And it's called These Two Alien Species Ruled Earth.
The Ebens, the ones with the pear-shaped, not the point. The Ebens have heads shaped like this, like pears. They do not wear the black slanted lenses. If they are our allies, one man said, without the Ebens, we might not be here. But they lie. This is complex. She continues, their eyes fill more than one half of their face, like empty holes. I can't remember any bottom part of their face. There are only 4 of them, and I remember them feeling apathy toward the questions I was asking. There's something horrible, something I'm blocking out. They have burning red eyes like the devil. They didn't all look alike. I think they made a mistake. Oh, here's one dressed in white, very brisk, long fingers, real long fingers. By God, they are kind of greenish colored too. The one in white is very brisk, calm, seems to be the only one who knows what the hell is going on. Going to take her back now. You shouldn't have done that. The tall beast.
Okay, that's actually not the right spot, but I'm glad she brought that up because this lady, she's saying this lady is talking about Ebens, but then she's actually describing reptilians.
Oh,
Right?
the snake-eyed ones. Yeah,
Because she talks about the green skin
right.
and the red eyes. Yeah. So that's not what we were told the Ebens even look like because they're supposed to be pale white, look kind of more
More of the shape of our skull, right?
right. Right. Okay. So,
Their minds. It's a blank exercise. You'll hear David and Corey now talk about it. It's become such an expected part of these experiences between military and humans with this intelligence and our own government. The ability to blank and erase minds and put in false memories, which will sustain for a point, but there's something very extraordinary about the human brain and mind because memory does.
okay. And I agree with her whole memory thing there, but I think that the reptilians also can create an elusive image that looks like a human being to us, even though
Right.
it's not. Similar to how David Icke describes, it's like a override of our
Like a screen memory.
visual cortex. Yeah, to where we're really seeing. What is the name of that movie? Um, They Live, right? He puts the
Oh, yeah.
sunglasses on
Yes.
and then he can truly see him. I think it's like
Right.
that. I'm trying to find. Let me see if this is it.
And they are categorized as hostile alien visitors. And
Okay, yeah, let me back this up just a little bit. This is where she's describing them.
looking down. They were with me. The mother felt cold, like it was in the 40 degrees Fahrenheit temperature range, which would be like an underground cavern. And she told Dr. Sprinkle, I saw his handwritten notes with this underlined. You know something? They don't like us humans. Those beings are something monstrous to me now. I feel like I have been in Auschwitz. And she weeps and sobs. How many of you have heard Charles Hall do presentations about the tall whites? Do you remember him saying that the tall white, they had to be very careful? They were given tremendous warnings. You never walked near their children. You never crossed on 45-degree angles in any way in their proximity. And if you did, you would die instantly. That they can do this. They have an ability to stop the heart and the brain, and have done it many times, and that humans are terrified of them.
Now, I actually want to pause that right there because you know me, I always have something to say. Okay, so David Icke, back to him. He always talks about how the reptilians can look like human beings, right?
Right.
Through this screen memory imprint that they can put into our mind somehow. Now, I have always had this strange inkling that we were not always told the complete truth about what went down in Germany and why Hitler was gathering all of these different people, and they were all put into different types of camps, right?
Oh,
And it
I
oh,
seen it.
I did. I saw
I
it. I
seen
don't
it.
that's a sign, y'all. That's a sign. I'm onto
It
something
shot
here.
straight up from the
It
bottom.
sure did.
Same side.
Same side. It was over here, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Um okay. So here's some facts that I know about what happened at Auschwitz, which she
Which
mentions,
she
right?
mentioned. Yes.
Okay. And she's talking about how everybody at the was it the Dulce base or the one at
Yeah.
Las Vegas?
I, that. Yeah.
That
Or
it's all whites that everybody was scared of.
Dulce. Yeah. Right. Dulce.
Okay. Okay. So bear with me a minute because some of the facts about Germany and the whole war there and what Hitler had going on, we know we're told that he was looking for a certain kind of race of beings, right? But we're actually the narrative here is that he was trying to create a certain race of people. But what if he was actually looking for another race of people that aren't really people, but reptilians in disguise? Because he did, in fact, have this strange X ray type machine, for the best way I can describe it. It looks today like a modern day um, thing that you would walk through to see if you've got weapons on you,
Uh-huh.
right? Whatever those are called.
Right.
But it did some kind of body scan on
Yep.
people. And then some people would go this direction and go into the camps, and then other people would go that direction into those camps, and they were the ones put in the incinerators. So I seriously wonder, was he looking for the reptilians and he knew that they were posing as Jews? Because it never made sense to me that he would do a full on attack against all Jews because his mother and his grandmother were Jewish.
Right. Yeah.
That never made sense to me. And a lot of what he actually talked about in the beginnings when he was talking to Austria in different places, he was talking about the same things we're talking about now: peace and not letting the bankers in. And those Jewish people were the ones that owned the banks. And he
Right.
tore the damn bank down.
Gosh.
So you got to wonder, what did they skew in the story there? And I'm not trying to invalidate the hell that people went through or the ugliness that happened in that time, but if in all fairness, Stalin took out way more people than Hitler did. I mean, it's on the books. It's recorded that he wiped out way more people, and yet Hitler's the one that everybody vilifies. And that, again, logically speaking, just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm
Yeah,
no
with
Hitler fan. I am no Hitler fan by any means, right? I just want to
right.
know the
It's free.
truth.
We have the right to have free thinking like that,
Yes,
with all due respect. And like you
absolutely.
said, that's like
So
when we talk. Go ahead.
I
Yeah,
just
keep
can't
going.
help but wonder if they're actually looking like human beings, but they're really the reptilians.
And he had that technology to to see through it, to see
And how
through
did
it.
how did he have the technology? He had Pleiadians that were channeling for him. That's how he got his own UFO because our US Navy sent spies over and stole their blueprints for the reverse engineered UFOs that he already created with Mercury in a gyroscope as the
See,
propulsion system.
he was into that stuff, so that's not
Yeah,
far-fetched at all.
right. I forget what she was called, but the lady with the long blonde hair
Yeah,
that was the psychic.
part of the Vril
Yes,
society.
yes, the Brill Society. That's it. And William Tompkins, God rest his soul, this very old man that came forward, I think to David Wilcock actually, was the first person he ever told. He was the man that worked in the Navy as some type of architect, right? Help create
The the
the
bell.
blueprints basically to make things. And when the blueprints were stolen from the Nazis and brought back to us, they were given to him, and he was the one commissioned with figuring out how to make something fly. And the first thing he said he used was one of our submarines with this same Mercury
Uh-huh.
propulsion system in it. And he even had models and blueprints to prove and back up his word was truth.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that makes sense to me because, like, not Betty and Barney Hill, but the three ladies that were together that had the radiation poisoning on them from back in that era of the 50s or so. I
Hmm.
I feel like that was one of our first UFOs that actually caused the radiation poisoning on them because they used mercury as their propulsion system. So all of this actually fits together, right? In a
Right.
weird, crazy kind of way. It all fits together. And it's Earth history, it's history of other people coming here and visiting us. It's reptilians are real and the war wasn't really what completely what we were told. It's like everything, right? It
Yeah.
all fits in and the whole narrative with the religion and all of that too, right?
And
Because
it's got that sensitivity where how dare you even
right,
think
because
this or
what
that, just like 9/11.
what was Hitler's main symbol? The swastika.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
come on.
The most
Something
hijacked
doesn't
sacred.
fit there.
Yeah.
The most sacred symbol of all existence.
The most hijacked sacred symbol of all existence next to the flower of life. I mean, what's
Yeah.
next? The flower of life is going to be. I seen that even. I seen there's you can look up websites where they're saying the flower of life is evil, you know?
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to find that for you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're already turning the tables on parts of sacred on that sacred geometry as well.
Yeah, because they're seeing that we're waking up and they're trying to pull out every stop they can to stop the awakening. Because once we really figure out who we are and that we have power, it's a game changer. And that's another thing I just want to bring up real quick. I don't know if you noticed, but in the alien group the other day, somebody said something about if you pray or call out Jesus' name, that the abduction will end.
I've heard
And
that several times.
and I'm not discounting that that doesn't work, because likely it does, because what you believe in
Right,
really matters,
it
right?
does. Yeah,
Because
and they
that is
respect
where your
that.
power, yeah, that's where your power is. And they do respect that. And if you believe that Jesus is going to come smite them, then by God, they'll get smited and you will give that credit to Jesus doing it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
See, in my case, when I was 16, I was hella pissed because I was locked down to a table with no visible locks, and this big machine was going to put something in my eye and another something up my nose. and I was fighting mad. And in my mind, I was cussing them 5 little aliens around my table and telling them that me and my daddy's gonna kick their ass. And I was so hot-headed mad, they all backed away and stopped. And that stuck with me because I'm a little bitty 16-year-old girl that weighs 82 pounds. Why did all of you back away from me like you were scared in that moment? That really stuck with me. And as I got older and I started using my energy and all of the universal energy to heal people and to do things and to change things, sometimes that would get a little hairy and things would go awry. Right?
Right.
Like I have literally lowered the tire pressure on all 4 tires of a car and made the car go, and it don't do that on a normal thing because my energy was that big. I have knocked out power to a radius of 825 houses because I was trying to grab every bit of juice I could grab out of the ether to heal somebody. Like some things can go awry
Yeah. If you
until
want
you learn
something
how to,
bad enough, or if you're
yeah, until
frightened
you
bad
learn
enough,
how to handle it.
or hella pissed. I can't believe you
Right?
said hella, by the way. That's
Hella.
totally like California.
I say hella all the time.
That may even be
I
Bay
told you
Area,
I'm
where I'm
I,
from, right here.
I told you I'm down with you Cali folk. I can pick up what you're throwing down. But I really firmly believe that they were like, "Oh, shit, she's pissed and something could really go awry."
Yeah, her daddy's gonna.
Right?
Yeah,
So they backed up because they were afraid of like how big my energy would get maybe. That's what I feel. So yeah, you can say Jesus is going to come make them stop. You can say you're going to make them stop and they're going to stop first and foremost.
yeah.
But
If you feel it strong enough, and
right,
they get that energy. Yeah, it's all about energy.
right. But also as a side note, I don't feel like the majority of them are here to hurt us either. Um,
No,
except the reptilians, because you can't change my mind about them. They're evil. I've had my own experiences with them too, and they want to brain rape you. It's the worst.
I've
It's the
seen
worst
one.
feeling.
I seen one do the whole little eye thing, and I wasn't with that. I've seen the videos of people seeing them do the little eye thing, and I wasn't with that. It didn't turn me on at all until one
Mhm.
day it happened to me. I met somebody from a big wig CO, top of the company, came down to visit where I was working at. I got to meet this person personally, and I seen his eyes do that thing, man. I seen it.
Not crazy.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah,
They
that's
and they
crazy.
are up there. They're usually the ones in charge.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, and America didn't even get into involved in World War II until Hitler had brought out these scanner machines that he started walking them through. I think that's when our big wigs that were already in control, that were Lizzie people, was like, "Oh, y'all got to go get involved now. We got to shut this down
Mm,
because he's getting ours." Right? They don't care if we get our own. They don't give two shits about us getting our own. It's when we get theirs that they care. That's my opinion on it. Because we weren't involved in any way, shape, or form until that particular juncture started happening. And they knew he had figured it out. He was looking for that other race, that evil race, the same race that Thoth wrote about in the Emerald Tablets
ah,
and said that that's the reason he left the Vermana buried beneath the paw of the Sphinx, because that was the only ship that could defeat the reptilians when they returned,
oh my gosh.
which our militaries already went there and dug up. That's the whole reason that we had our sights set on Saddam Hussein instead of bin Laden after 9/11, because he had already found it. He also had already claimed himself um, Nimrod reincarnated. I think it was Nimrod,
Oh my gosh.
which is of the lineage of Gilgamesh.
Right.
Yeah.
King Gilgamesh. Yeah.
Hmm. So there were already biblical things happening then, And we're not getting the whole story on the Bible, and we're not getting the whole story on history.
Right. Yeah, because they said we won that war, and we end up getting all them scientists that turned into NASA, and you got the whole Antarctica, and
Hmm.
yeah, I don't think they went away that
And
quietly, being that deep into UFOs and all that other stuff. They didn't go
yeah,
away that
and
quiet.
you've also got the U-boats that were found in what, Austria or somewhere. I forget where exactly. Argentina. It was Argentina. They found U-boats in Argentina that were from the war era, and people who claimed that Hitler actually lived there for the rest of his days in Argentina.
And he didn't commit suicide in that bunker,
Hmm.
right?
Right, right. And even the Russians have done DNA on the what they claim is the remains of him, and said that that wasn't even a man; it was a female.
Hmm.
What they claimed was the body, you know. So lots of truths are coming out now, and I love that we're talking about this kind of stuff because we do need to figure out what the hell's up, and who to watch out for and who to use our spidey senses on, you
Right.
know.
It's our human right. I mean, there's a lot of rights that we should know a lot of stuff about, ourselves and our history. The history is ourselves.
Yes,
That's what's built where we're at now.
100%. Do you have anything else in your notes that I'm talking over top of and not letting you say?
No, I think we killed that one too. Other than, there she was talking about MJ-12, and the CIA was pretty much developed uh, because of the whole alien presence. The CIA
Uh-huh.
is all about this the alien presence.
And the
And
NSA and the DIA. All three were created to hide the alien presence. Go
right,
ahead.
yeah, that, and that was the whole National Security Act. Deny, deny, deny. Um, just governmental control over the whole, just like today. They're trying to control the narrative, and it's the same thing.
That's
But
right.
that's all I have on her, on Linda, and that whole.
Okay. So while we're on the subject of the NSA, the CIA, the DIA being created to be the cover up for UFOs and the existence of alien beings, I want to just say one of the main 12 on the MJ-12 or Majestic 12 panel was a man named Vannevar Bush.
Ah,
Vannevar Bush is the grandfather of George Bush.
right,
And Vannevar Bush's father, even, who his name escapes me at the moment, was also involved in United States intelligence back in the day. So they are all of the Bushes are heavily tied to the secrets that our country and the world holds away from the public view. So that's something to put a pin in. And then, of course, I have my own experiences with the NSA and blacked out white vehicles sitting outside my home for the next 7 years, my phone being tapped, helicopters flying over, playing chicken with my car on the road. All kinds of insane things were going on. My house had been ransacked twice. My house got burned down. Then we had to live in a camper, and even the camper got broke into and ransacked. They were looking for something specific. I don't know what they were looking for exactly. Maybe evidence they thought I may have,
mm,
because at that point I was already very highly involved and sharing my knowledge with certain higher up people, which is how I got the connections that I now have. And all of this was created under Hoover. And my dad was the one that always told me to remember Hoover because he was a pivotal point in this. In 1947, under the Security Act, he formed the NSA, the DIA, and the CIA to blanket and snowball and cover all this up, with Bush being involved in that. And then we go back to Nazi Germany and how we brought all the scientists over here. And Werner von Braun was one of said scientists.
Right.
And now, flash forward to present day, you've got one lady that worked underneath of him that consistently regurgitates the warning of an alien invasion and Project Bluebeam being a
Uh-huh.
whole fake thing. Now, you take that and you believe it as fact when it came from a Nazi scientist that we brought over here for some reason after the war and gave him complete immunity, by the way, to the Nuremberg trials, etc.
Right. Yep. A lot
So
of them did. Yeah.
I don't believe that it's true. I don't believe Project Bluebeam is true simply because he's attached to it. He's the one
Uh-huh.
that said it, but also because if this was a true plan, it would have never seen the light of day and hit anybody's ears in the public ever. They would have taken her out to keep her from talking. That's a guarantee. They would have taken her out. They've allowed this to come out. So now you've got to look at this from an investigative point of view and say, why? What would be the motive? Well, if you have a giant spaceship coming, and I don't know, maybe there's a planet or a binary star that's connected to it in some way, shape, or form, and some Anunnakis or some whatever,
Exactly.
right? And they really do come in peace. When they come in peace, you're not going to believe that shit because now you know about Project Bluebeam and the game is up, man. And so we would never listen to anything they say. And then the lizard people really do have the upper hand on us, and they've
Yep.
just snookered us.
Just like the movie Project Nine, I think it was too, where they come down and it always starts
Dude,
off
that
like
movie
it's
was
going to
fucked
be
up.
some good thing, or the old show V back in the day, V, you know,
Yes. Yes.
they
Exactly.
yeah, reptilians
Exactly.
undercover. It's all pre-programmed desensitization, you
To
know.
make you not trust them, right? I mean, they got to tell you without telling you
Right. It's
about who
part of
the
the
evil
witchcraft.
is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and then they spin it and they flip it. And Q is always saying, think mirror. So the V narrative is we come in peace, and then really they eat people because they're
Right.
lizard people, right?
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that, the ones coming from the sky really do come in peace, and the lizard people are already here, and they're the ones that eat the babies that want the adrenochrome.
Right.
Hello, we're fitting it all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I dropped my mic. It's your turn.
Yeah, that's the dark. I didn't realize we were going to go down such a deep dark rabbit hole tonight. That was very enlightening.
Right? And knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. And the more we figure out how deeply duped we really were, the faster we can get out of the rabbit hole and be on top again.
As long as this stuff is out on the table, man. I mean, I you know me, Kelly, I have trust issues with a lot of stuff. You send me stuff half the time, I sound like a different person, when I'm texting you. Like I have trust issues. I just don't trust anything that's up that high, that everyone else is on board with.
No,
But
and I
and
want you
it's,
to be that way. I think that's great.
but a lot of this stuff is on the table, and you are amazing how you just spew it all out like that. You really are.
Thank you.
I could not do it like that at all. All I can do is just try to be myself alongside with what you're cooking here. But that's all I have with that whole thing with Linda. The only thing I have left was what we only have like one more video after that. But that's all I had from that. Wow.
Yeah. And we've went so long now. I think we'll save that other video for the next week's show.
Okay.
Because we've run kind of long. I know you're probably getting tired. And who knows, maybe everybody watching is getting tired of listening to us.
No, my butt hurts though.
Your butt hurts. Time to get up
Yeah.
and move around. Yeah. But yeah, I just think we should question everything. And that's why I sent you that one video last night and I was like, thoughts? Because I already knew. I was like, ah, that feels hokey to me. But I was like, maybe I'm just being too harsh. And then you said the same thing and you were afraid that I took it wrong. And I'm like, no, I totally agree. Like I
Yeah.
totally agree. And it's good. It's healthy for us to question everything, right? Just because we believe UFOs are real and they come from another place or there's alien beings doesn't mean we believe every bit of horse shit that's out there because
Well,
there's a
see, that's
lot of horse shit.
right. So that's kind of the thing though too. As an experiencer, we experience some pretty crazy trippy stuff, and
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
it just opens us up to any and everything, which is not healthy.
Right,
Because a lot of experiencers end up being addicted to drugs and alcohol because we're forced to kind of live a double life, so to speak.
yeah,
And it's not as easy as everyone thinks it is, uh,
yeah,
having these experiences, because it could be really unhealthy. I've been down some deep dark rabbit holes, but it's always to find truth. And I think that's what awakenings are. I don't think there's just one big awakening. I
um,
think there's a bunch of awakenings. And I think in order to get these awakenings, you need a certain amount of truth. And that's what I do is I dive down the rabbit holes, and I try not to operate and stay down these rabbit holes for too long and start operating from that frequency, because that's when you
right.
start getting mentally sick, mentally ill.
Yeah,
Um,
you got to
and
come up
and
for air.
right, I mean, you're going to encounter a lot more darkness the longer you're down there. I just
Right,
want some truths that my
right.
gut is screaming at me. This is true.
Hmm. Yes. And that's going to be the whole point, really, of our newest show that we're creating
Yep.
is that we've gotten together a team of psychic investigators and we're going to really listen to our gut. We're going to really listen to our senses as we go through the evidence to find true answers to things.
Yep.
And I'm really excited about
I'm
doing that
excited too. Yes.
because I think that's going to be a great way for a very easy way for people to grasp that everybody has this gut instinct. Everybody has spidey senses, right?
Yep.
What we would call intuition or psychic abilities. Just because we
Right.
put fancier words on it doesn't mean you can't attain it. It's
No.
very attainable. We all use it every day. We just don't realize it.
Right.
So,
You and I both preach, all the time, that we are way more powerful than everyone's led us to believe. We are way more powerful.
yeah,
We've been programmed. By the time we were 6 years old, we were indoctrinated into thinking that we only have a certain amount of senses, the okey doke
yeah,
stuff, right? You
right.
know, Everything else was considered extra.
Right. And actually, I just want to touch on another point in that Linda video where she was talking about how the alien beings were superior to us because they don't see with their eyes, they sense and scan instead. Did you catch that part?
No, uh-uh.
She was talking about how they can scan everybody and read them
Oh,
rather
yeah,
than
yes,
looking at them
yes.
with their just
Right,
with
with
their eyes like
right,
we
with all the
do.
rules. Yeah, you don't do a 45 in front of them, and all the different rules, and
Yeah, yeah.
right.
And I'm like, "Well, see, I disagree with that too because I scan people. That's what I do for a living. I scan them. I read their energy. I'm either helping to evaluate a health issue
Hmm.
or an emotional block or something, but I'm literally scanning them and I'm using those senses, not just our 5 basic senses. And we can all do it.
Hmm.
We read a room. When we walk in a room, we read a room. If you walk in a room and somebody's been arguing and they suddenly stop, you feel that. The air is
Right.
thick, right? You
Yeah.
feel that tension in the air. If somebody's light and happy, you feel that. Like
Right.
we read energy naturally. We
Yeah. I
just
remember doing
never
that.
had words for it.
Yeah. And I didn't know what transmute energy was when I was a kid, but I remember doing that, walking into a room when the energy was like, hey, I don't want these people to argue. I don't want these people to fight. I see where this is going. I was transmuting it. And I believe that was one of my talents. That's all. We have all of the abilities, but of course, people have different talents in different areas. That doesn't stop. The
Yeah.
talent thing doesn't stop.
No.
But you tend to learn which one you're kind of talented in.
Right, right. And you're learning your whole life, you're learning how to navigate by reading energy. You just never realized that's what you were doing.
And
Like when
and the
you
things that
lighten up the mood in a room, that's a super talent. You're right, that's your talent.
the
It's
things
like
that
a,
we
a
find
superpower.
Yeah, right. We find our superpower. We find what we're most talented in, and guess what? It's the thing that we just happen to have the most confidence in,
Yeah.
and we can put that towards anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, I talk the talk, boy.
I mean, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful how we can have these discussions and help other people to be like, "Oh, it is that easy."
Yeah,
It's not hard. It's not
right.
hard to figure out who we are if you understand the language behind it. And that's why I don't like the whole spiritual movement because it's kind of even the language has been hijacked. The symbolism is stolen, everything's being hijacked.
Yeah,
And just talking like we do is so much more easy to understand and, pick up what we're throwing down.
right. Yeah, just be real with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really excited about us doing this show. And I'm really excited about our new Psychic Investigator show. And we got lots of great things coming up. And anybody that is watching that's interested in um, alien abduction or support groups or anything like that, Michael and I both have Facebook groups just for that. And I will be sure to put those both in the link below the video so that you can find us on Facebook and learn more and share and find your tribe. Closing thoughts?
Wow, that is a good idea. How did you get so many people in your group? You got like 1.3 thousand people in your group, I think.
I
Huh.
don't I don't know how it happened. It just happened.
You know what?
I'm a
I think a lot
magnet.
of it, I like the name. I think it's a lot of it is in the name because a lot of people are, you've got the help, the support and help
It feels
needed
safe. And that's my
within
superpower, making people feel
that.
safe and comfortable.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure
Mhm.
is. I learn a lot from you. I really do.
Awesome. I love that. I love sharing, and I learn every day. Missy says to me all the time, my cousin that lives with us, she's always like, "You're so smart," and I'm like, "But that's because I learn every day." I'm like a little kid. I cannot learn enough. So I love to have conversations with people because everything that people say to me, I really absorb it and take it in and learn from it. You know, I
Yeah.
love to learn.
I would like more people in my group to come out and tell their stories like I do, like a lot of people do in your group. They straight up, hey, I'm Harry,
Oh, isn't that
I'm
incredible?
74. A lot of older folks,
Right, 74, one of our
70
newest
something
people.
years
Isn't that
old. Yeah.
incredible?
I think that's great. And a lot of these people at that age, they think they're too old to not just go there, but to even get the help, regressive wise. And that's not
Mhm.
true. There's plenty of regressive hypnotherapists that will take them down too, and they'll, it's never too late. It's never
Right,
too late.
right, exactly. And, the older I get, the more I realize actually 74 really isn't that old because I'm 53, but mentally, like inside of my brain, I still feel like I'm in my 30s. I
Yeah,
still feel very youthful and excited about life.
that's the way it's
And
going to
my
be, I
mother,
think.
My
So,
mother was 90 when she passed, and she was still very excited about life, at
oh,
90, which is adorable.
yes, it
So,
is.
I mean, she loved learning and she loved talking about this spiritual stuff. And she was never introduced to such things until I became an adult and really started speaking out publicly about it. And then she was like, "All right, Kelly, I need to know what you know. I really want to know more, you know." And she started learning, and it was beautiful to watch her learn because she was excited about it. So yeah, I love it that he's 74 and he's out there talking about it. And just for anybody that's interested in that, I have my own quantum regression where I can do this over Zoom and it's totally safe and effective for you to do for figuring out what you've been through and experienced or even doing past life stuff. It's pretty incredible. Um, and go join Michael's group too.
Hey,
Because
I
Michael's
might
got
take
lots
you.
of cool things to talk about, and Mike gets to go to all the cool UFO Comic Con type things.
Yeah, conferences.
Yeah.
Um, I think another thing is we retain that childlike wonderment. That might be another. We're just all kids. We really are. I hear
We
everybody.
really are.
Yeah, we still are the same kids.
Yeah. Like I still like to be goofy and silly and
Yeah, right.
you
You
know,
have to retain that.
right. And my body doesn't always agree with that, but whatever. I'm still gonna keep my same youthful spirit. But
And then
yeah,
my
sometimes I leap or do a cartwheel or something, and my body's like, "Girl, what did you just do?"
I could see us doing some stuff in the future, Kelly. That's really like just coming to the top of my head right now. I might have to take you up on the offer of being regressed. Maybe that's something we can do live. Maybe that's something,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
that would be awesome.
Maybe we can get, like a polygraph, like I've always wanted to take a polygraph test because when you're confident in what you've experienced and you don't want people to think that you're lying,
Hmm.
well, taking a polygraph would eliminate that many amount of people that are just sitting around waiting for a polygraph test. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't need a
100%.
polygraph test. If you told me something, Kelly, I wouldn't need you to give me a polygraph test. But there's a lot of other people out there that would want to start off by at least seeing that, right? So I
Hmm.
can see something where we're doing this together, where we get a polygraph test, we get a regression done, and all of a sudden my story broadens. My experiences, the missing time that I had is being explained. I can see these things happening, and we don't need to wait for some Netflix movie. We can do it here, ground level, sea level, because this is where the disclosure is going to happen anyway. It's not going
That's
to be
right.
some top MUFON. I'm flirting with MUFON. I love uh, Melinda Leslie and Lorraine Fenton. These people
Hmm.
are giving me a voice, and so far I haven't
I
been
love MUFON.
corrupted. And until someone proves me wrong, I'm gonna stay the course.
Yeah,
And so far my gut is telling me that this is right. I'm gonna
yeah,
stay sea level, and this is where it's gonna stay.
yeah. And I love that. I love that about you. I love your courage and your confidence to move forward. And personally, I don't think you should have to do a polygraph to prove anything to anybody because the right people are going to migrate toward us and the wrong ones will walk away. And that's okay. That's the way we need it to be, you know?
It's just something to check off. Like, okay,
Right.
look,
I
I got
get
the
it.
polygraph done. Just like Travis Walton and his work group
Sure.
that he had. That spoke in volume when they passed that test. It was like, holy,
Hmm.
wait a minute, they all
Yeah.
passed this test. They're not
Yeah.
just making stuff up. But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree. It does lend a lot of credence to it. I'm just also very rebellious in that sense where, I mean, like Dolores Cannon, for example, when they asked her, why don't you let somebody review your tapes of you regressing your clients and what they're saying and stuff to corroborate your story?
uh,
And she looked right at the man and she says, I don't need anybody to corroborate my story. I know the truth. All of my clients know the truth. If I was saying something that wasn't truthful, they would come forward and discredit me. I don't need people to look at my tapes, right? And I agree with that 100%. And just sidebar note there for anybody that doesn't know, she was not a licensed hypnotherapist. Her husband was.
ah,
And she learned his simple basic methods and took it to the quantum level. And that's exactly the type of regression that I do. I take you to the quantum level, not the way Dolores Cannon did, because I didn't take any training either. I just tapped into my spirit and my spirit guides, and I said, I want to know how to do this so I can help people. Lead me through it. And I did 60 people for free to practice to see how effective it was. And it was completely successful. So now I do that. I offer that service to people, just like Dolores Cannon and Jana Hill, because she also does it.
and she was the best in the business.
She really was.
It
She was
was.
our grandmother way shower. I
Yep.
adore her. All right, this has been an amazing talk.
Yes, it was. It is.
And I am so grateful to everybody for tuning in and sticking with us this long because I think it was about 2 hours long.
That's it.
So thank you very much. We appreciate you. And stay tuned for next week's episode.
All right. Good night, everybody.